Leo left me, sick and feverish, in the suburbs, all to go watch the sea with his first love. He spent 6 years teaching me to be independent, yet he told his first love that she deserved to be cherished by the whole world. And so, I truly no longer needed him. Iris shouted excitedly into the phone. Leo, can you hear the sound of the waves? Leo's face changed dramatically. He slammed on the brakes. Iris, where are you? Iris chuckled. I was in a terrible mood, but coming to the seaside, I feel a peace I haven't felt in a long time. Leo, the sea is so dark at night. I'm a little scared, but my feet are buried in the sand, and it feels so grounding. The water is so cold. I'm getting a little chilly. Chilly? Then how about I take you for hot pot? That place you said has the best tripe. Leo's voice was steady, but the hand holding the phone was trembling. He finally found Iris' flashing red dot on the map. He was about to turn the car around when I stopped his hand. Only then did Leo remember I was in the car. My interruption made his expression turn ugly, his gaze instinctively fierce. I gave a helpless smile and muted the call. Let me out first. I need to go to the hospital. I had a fever of 102 degrees. We had left a friend's party early specifically to take me to the hospital, but one phone call from Iris had made Leo forget my existence. Leo was in a difficult position. Iris, she. I knew what he wanted to say, that Iris' situation was more urgent, that she needed him more, and I just had a fever. I wasn't a child, couldn't I handle it myself? Before he could finish, I nodded understandingly. I get it, go to her. I'll go to the hospital by myself. With that, I got out of the car. I watched the car sit there for 5 seconds, then turn around and speed away. Iris was Leo's first love. In college, to win her over, Leo, who was allergic to mangoes, forced himself to eat a whole box, but in the end, Iris still left him for a better option. This had sent Leo into a spiral of self-loathing. I didn't save him. When I met him, he had already recovered from the pain of his breakup. He was confident, mature, and reserved. He was once my life mentor. He made me a better person, just not in the way I would have liked. Iris had reappeared 2 years ago. Her so-called better option had not only cheated on her but had also been abusive. Iris fell into a deep depression. Leo became her therapist. He said he had long since moved on. That to him, Iris was just a patient. And at first, it was true, until Iris stopped paying for her sessions. Until that night when Leo looked at her with tenderness in his eyes and said, "You deserve to be cherished by the whole world." Today was the birthday party of one of Leo's friends. He had found a farmhouse in the suburbs so everyone could have a good time. The environment was nice, and there were plenty of activities, but it was too remote. 10 minutes passed, and still, no one had accepted my ride request on the app, and I was starting to feel unsteady from the fever. I squatted by the side of the road, wondering if I should call an ambulance. Suddenly, a car approached in the distance. Mia, what are you doing here? I squinted to make out the person. It looked like one of Leo's childhood friends, Sean. He got out of the car and helped me up. What's wrong? Where's Leo? I didn't want to broadcast what Leo had done, so I just pleaded, "Can you take me to the hospital? I don't think I can hold on much longer." I wasn't lying. The moment I got into the car, I felt dizzy and closed my eyes. In a daze, I heard Sean on the phone with Leo. He said, "Even if you had something to do, even if Iris was about to jump into the sea, you could have called one of us. Any of us could have taken your wife to the hospital. If I hadn't left when I did, she would have passed out on the side of the road with no one to help. She's not a child." Of course she's not a child, but have you forgotten this is the suburbs? Was she supposed to conjure a car out of thin air? Leo, you're a real bastard, damn it. Although Leo's actions hadn't had a huge impact on me, hearing someone stand up for me still made me smile, perhaps because I was more relaxed. I fell asleep for the rest of the ride. I woke up in the middle of the night. There were no messages or missed calls from Leo on my phone. Instead, there was a text from Sean. "Sean here, had to leave for something. Got you a nurse. Let me know you're okay when you wake up." So I replied, "Awake. I'm fine, thank you." After a thought, I added, "I'll treat you to a meal sometime." I left the hospital the next morning after my 4-drip was finished. I took a day off from work and went straight to my friend's law firm. Her associate met with me, handed me the divorce papers, and said, "If you need to file a lawsuit, you can contact me at any time." I didn't think it would be necessary, but I still nodded and thanked him. Leo wasn't home when I got back. Judging by the state of the house, he hadn't been back all night. I didn't call him. I took out a suitcase and started packing. There were fewer and fewer of my things in this house. Only 3 pairs of my shoes were left in the shoe cabinet, and only this season's clothes in the closet. I had already cleared out the study. Last week, I had moved my computer and files to my new place. As for the other daily necessities, it was better to destroy them than to spend the time and effort moving them. I made 8 trips to throw everything away. All that was left was my suitcase. Standing in the living room, waiting for Leo, he got home around 6. He froze when he saw the suitcase. "Are you going on a business trip?" I said. "No, I'm moving out." "What do you mean?" I took out the divorce papers. "Let's get a divorce." Leo paused for a few seconds, then pushed me away in frustration. "Don't mess around. I haven't slept all night. I'm tired enough as it is." I tried to keep my tone as calm as possible. "I'm not messing around. Take a look. If there's anything you're not happy with, we can discuss it." "You're serious?" "Yes." Leo sneered. "Mia, are you threatening me? A mature adult shouldn't act like this." "Divorce. Running away from home. You're not a child anymore." I had heard similar words too many times. At first, I felt guilty, then angry. Now, I felt nothing. I held out the divorce papers to him. "Take a look. If there are no problems, just sign at the end." "Mia, that's enough." Leo growled. He said, "If you keep this up, I'll take you seriously." I met his gaze silently. In the end, he was the one who looked away fiercely. He snatched the papers from my hand, didn't even look at them, and flipped to the last page to sign his name. He told me viciously to get out, but I still reminded him. "Tomorrow morning at 8, at the Civil Affairs Bureau." Leo and I met on a blind date. I was just 20 at the time, still in college. I went for the fun of it. When I saw Leo, I was stunned. I couldn't help but exclaim, "Is the quality of the blind date market this high now?" Leo chuckled. We both knew we weren't interested in that way, so we made some small talk, exchanged numbers, and went our separate ways. It was 3 months later that I called him, because he was a therapist. "Dr. Sue, I wanted to ask you, if I hear my toothbrush talking to me, what does that mean?" Leo said, "It means you need to see me." I underwent a lot of tests and evaluations that day. Leo was with me the whole time. Later, he told me, "You're sick. You need to take medicine." "But I don't feel sick." Leo chuckled. "You will, once you start taking it." That was a time when I was very dependent on Leo. He was patient, gentle, and always smiling. He told me, "It's okay. It's a small problem. I can fix it." It took him a year to cure me. It took me 6 months to win him over. Then we dated, got married, and it's been 6 years now. We didn't even make it to the 7-year itch before it all fell apart, but I had come to terms with it. I took a photo of the divorce papers and posted it on my social media. My mother was the first to explode. One call after another, one message after another. I glanced at them. The words were all about being a shameless slut. To avoid a heart attack, I blocked her. The world was finally quiet. The next second, Chloe's call came in. She was my only remaining best friend, and the first person to know I was getting a divorce. She said, "I know you really want a divorce, but isn't it a bit early to celebrate?" I smiled. "It's not a celebration. I posted it for Leo to see." "What do you mean?" "He probably thinks I'm just being moody. If I don't push him, he won't show up at the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow." Leo was 6 years older than me. My mother used to say that a 6-year age gap was bad luck, but Leo's qualifications were too good. They completely shattered her superstitious beliefs, making her think I had done some great deed in a past life. Because of this age gap, Leo always treated me like a child. When he was good to me, he doted on me like a child. When he was bad to me, he scolded me like a child. But the one thing he always said was, "You're not a child anymore." My social media post worked. The next morning, when I arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau, Leo was already there, but he wasn't alone. Iris was there too. She looked at me with a helpless expression. "Leo told me you were getting a divorce." I was so shocked. "Mia, you can't be so impulsive. If it's because of the other night, I apologize to you." "Okay." It was laughable. She was using a condescending tone, as if talking to a child, but the provocation in her eyes was unmistakable. I smiled. "Then go ahead." "What? Apologize? You said you were going to apologize, didn't you?" Iris was taken aback, but she recovered quickly. She grabbed Leo's wrist. "It seems Mia is really angry." "Leo, say something." Leo's face was cold. "Is she a child? Does she need to be coddled?" "Leo, don't be like that. You promised you would talk to her properly, didn't you?" "Mia." I cut her off. "Miss Lynn, I'm curious. You always call me Mia. Are we that close?" Iris' face turned pale. Leo snapped. "Mia, where are your manners?" I was getting annoyed. "If I remember correctly, the purpose of today is to finalize the divorce. So, Leo, are you stalling? Leo's expression darkened. Stubborn. We went into the bureau one after the other. After completing the divorce registration, the staff reminded us to come back in a month to get the official certificate. When we came out, Leo asked me, "When are you going to collect your things?" I looked at him in surprise. "You didn't notice." "Notice what?" "That there's nothing of mine left in that house." Actually, it was understandable that Leo hadn't noticed. In the second year of our marriage, he had suggested we sleep in separate rooms. He said, "Even a married couple needs their own space. That's how a relationship lasts." I trusted him completely back then. Even though I wanted to sleep in the same bed with him, I agreed. From then on, even when we were intimate, he would get up and leave afterwards. A few times, I held on to him, asking him to stay with me. He would always look at me with the expression of someone dealing with a naughty child. "Mia, we must do what we say we'll do. We can't go back on our word." Later, one of his friends came over. He accidentally discovered that Leo was sleeping in the guest room. He teased Leo, asking if I had kicked him out. Leo said, "Separate rooms. It was my idea." "Why?" "She's too clingy. It's a bit annoying." I wasn't surprised that my mother showed up at my door. I had told her my new address, not because of any deep mother-daughter bond, but because I knew her. If she couldn't find me, she would go to my office. If she couldn't find me there, she would go to Leo. And the last person I wanted her to bother was Leo. During the time I was sick, Leo had analyzed my mother for me, her motivations and her true intentions. My mother was transparent to Leo. He could see through her little tricks at a glance, and the half-smirk he would give me after seeing through her made me uncomfortable. "Leo wants to divorce you. Did you do something to make him angry? Why can't you be more considerate? And you had the nerve to post about it on social media. Have you no shame? I told you, have a baby. You're almost 30 and you don't even have a child. Why are you so useless? Why is my life so miserable? Everywhere I go, people say you're sick and can't have children. Can't you make me proud for once? I can't eat. I can't sleep. I don't even have the energy to play cards. I don't care. You go and talk to Leo. If you dare to divorce him, I'll disown you." I had heard the same speech countless times. It no longer had the power to upset me, but I still couldn't help asking, "Don't you care why we're getting a divorce?" "Why?" "What why? You can't even hold on to your own man. And you have the audacity to ask why." "Mia, I'm telling you, if you dare to divorce him, don't call me your mother anymore." I went along with it. "Okay, ma'am." My mother was stunned for a few seconds, then shrieked, "Mia." She acted as if I had given her a heart attack. "You just can't stand to see me happy, can you? You just have to drive me to my grave, don't you? What have I ever done to you? I raised you from a baby, and this is how you repay me. You're trying to kill me." I looked at the hysterical, screaming woman before me. She didn't have a complete moral compass. She didn't know the difference between right and wrong. Now she was acting like a paragon of virtue, as if divorce was a cardinal sin. But she was also the one who, when my boss tried to pressure me into sleeping with him, had negotiated a price of $50,000. It was a summer job she had found for me, a real estate development company. The boss was a high school classmate of my late father. She had told me to go and learn from the finance department. I went, and that man, a man I could have called uncle, cornered me in his car after getting drunk one night. He said if I was willing, we could go to a hotel right then, and he would give me $5,000 a month. I was terrified. I told my mother, my voice trembling. She was silent for a long time. $5,000 is too little. Tell him $50,000. If he agrees, then you agree. In that moment, I was numb. I numbly quit my job and went back to school, but she wouldn't let me go. She forced me to go back to that company, saying that if I didn't hand over my work properly, how could she face that man in the future, the man who had tried to solicit me? It was at that time that I became Leo's patient, suffering from severe depression. I took a kitchen knife from the kitchen and threw it in front of my mother. She flinched and immediately fell silent. "What are you doing?" I said. "It's up to you. Kill yourself or kill me, whatever makes you happy, but I am getting this divorce." A dead silence. My mother looked at me with a hint of fear in her eyes. "Oh, using a knife is too ugly." I dragged her to the window. "How about we jump together? Since you don't want to live anymore, I'll give you your life back." My mother fled in a panic. At the door, she said viciously, "If you want to die, die by yourself. Don't drag me down with you." Finally, the world was quiet. I lay down on the floor. My mind went blank, and somehow, I fell asleep. I was woken up by a call from Leo. He asked me, "What about your display cabinet of bags and jewelry?" It took me a moment to understand what he was talking about. "You gave them to me. Now they're back where they belong." Leo said coldly. I don't take back things I've given away, then throw them away. With that, I hung up. I wanted to block him, but then I remembered we still had to get the divorce certificate, so I gave up. I thought, knowing Leo's personality, once he hit a wall with me, he wouldn't try again, but to my surprise, he called me again on the fourth day. At that time, I was treating Sean to a meal to thank him. Sean seemed like a cold person, but in reality, he was quite gentle. His gentleness was different from Leo's. Leo's was on the surface, his heart was cold, but Sean had a kind of deep-seated warmth that came with time. I expressed my gratitude to him. He asked how I was recovering, then we talked about our work. He was surprised to hear I was now working at a tax firm. I smiled. I passed the CPA exam 2 years ago and changed jobs. Sean nodded. That's impressive, he added. Leo was blind. I lowered my eyes. He probably still doesn't even know I changed jobs. In Leo's eyes, I had always been useless. Like when I told him I wanted to take the CPA exam, his reaction was, don't waste your time on things beyond your capabilities. Sean wasn't a gossip, so the topic was quickly dropped. We chatted for a bit more and finished dinner. As we were leaving the restaurant, Leo called. He asked me, where's the body wash? I was silent. Suddenly, I heard Iris' voice in the background. Forget it. Why did you even call her? What if she gets the wrong idea? I want shower. I chuckled. The body wash is on the bottom shelf of the storage cabinet. The robes are on the top. Have fun. Wait. Leo's voice was urgent. Don't get the wrong idea. Iris and I were having dinner nearby, and a waiter spilled soup on her. I wanted to say, you don't have to explain to me, but I missed a step and stumbled. Luckily, Sean caught me. He said, be careful. Leo fell silent. After a few seconds, he growled, who are you with? I frowned, annoyed. We're divorced. For better or for worse, we have nothing to do with each other anymore. Sean said, if you need me to, I can go and explain to Leo. I looked at him. You also don't believe that I really want to divorce him? Sean looked at me for a long time. Finally, he said, I believe you. I smiled. Thank you. I thought I had made myself clear enough, but Leo started bombarding me with calls. He even found my new place. When Sean dropped me off at the entrance of my building, Leo rushed out of his car and threw a punch at Sean's face. I thought you were my brother. You're seducing my wife. Sean took the punch without flinching. Leo tried to hit him again, but Sean caught his arm. He said, that's enough. I rushed over and pushed Leo away. Are you insane? Leo looked at me in disbelief. You're protecting him. I clenched my jaw. You're sick. Iris arrived, fashionably late. She took Leo's arm and looked at me disapprovingly. Mia, you're being childish. Even if you're angry, you shouldn't try to drive a wedge between Leo and Sean's friendship. Sean sneered. Sean, are we that close? Iris' face paled. Sean, I know you don't like me. If you know I don't like you, then don't talk. Enough. Leo always instinctively defended Iris. He stepped in front of her and looked at Sean coldly. When did you two start? I let out a weary breath. Leo, just because you're dirty, don't assume everyone else is too. Iris interjected. But you got out of Sean's passenger seat. Isn't the passenger seat only for girlfriends? I tilted my head at her. So you know that. Iris looked aggrieved. I get carsick. Listen to that. Rules for thee, but not for me. Everyone could see she was being unreasonable and twisting logic. Except for the willfully blind Leo. I looked at him, exhausted. What do you want? Why can't you just leave me alone? Do I deserve to be tormented by you? Leo looked bewildered. Tormented. You're using the word, tormented. My face was blank. How did you know where I live? You asked my mother, didn't you? You know her better than I do. You know that if you contact her, she'll think we still have a chance. She'll come and bother me, over and over again. But you don't care, because how I handle my relationship with my mother is my business, not yours. Leo had said those exact words to me. She's your mother. You have to learn to handle your relationship with her yourself, not come to me every time. Otherwise, what was the point of all my treatment? But what about her? I pointed at Iris. You can handle everything for her. Her relationships with her friends, her family, you taught her all of it, step by step. Why is that? Because in your world, Iris deserves to be cherished by everyone, while I, Mia, deserve to handle everything on my own. And I did. Leo, you've taught me how to fight the world alone, so I don't need you anymore. Because of Leo and Iris, Sean ended up being brought back to my apartment, but he didn't come in. At the door, he just said, get some rest, good night. I felt a little bad for him, but I was too tired, physically and mentally, to even speak. In the end, I could only nod and watch him leave. Leo wanted to talk. I agreed. We met again at his office. My request. I wanted our conversation to be rational. Leo still had that superior air about him. He said, I was wrong this time. I shouldn't have left you to go to Iris, but her situation was too critical. I was afraid she would do something drastic. A life was at stake. I couldn't just stand by. She's my patient. You should understand. But I promise you, I will handle my relationship with her. That was a very Leo speech. A slap. Then a sweet treat. I thought for a moment. About 6 months ago, Iris got into a fender bender and called you. You had been up all night, but you still rushed over. Afterwards, you explained to me that Iris had no one else to call. Leo frowned. What are you trying to say? I want to ask you, if it had been me who got into a fender bender, would you have gone? Of course Leo faltered. He must have also remembered what happened a month ago. The coolant hose had aged and snapped, and the car's engine had blown on the highway. I was driving his car that day because mine was in for maintenance. Naturally, I wanted to ask him what to do. He said, if you're attacked, call the police. If you're sick, call an ambulance. If your car breaks down, call a mechanic. Mia, this is common sense. Leo took off his glasses and rubbed the bridge of his nose in frustration. Mia, be reasonable. The reason I said that was because we had fought the night before. I nodded. Right, we fought. So, as long as I don't admit I'm wrong, as long as I don't back down, you will punish me in every way possible. Shouldn't you apologize when you've done something wrong? I shot to my feet. The biggest mistake I ever made in my life was marrying you. Leo grabbed me. What do you want? I looked at him coldly. I want you not to back out when the 1-month period is up. The boldest thing I ever did in my life was pursue Leo. He had helped me when I was at my most vulnerable, to the point that I once felt I couldn't live without him. That was the first time I understood what it meant to lose all appetite for food and drink. The days I didn't see him, I grew visibly haggard. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I only knew I wanted to be with him. I was definitely a fool for love back then. I was clingy, jealous, and suspicious. These were all things Leo disliked. So he chipped away at me, piece by piece, and then remolded me. The days when Leo no longer sought me out passed quickly. I went on 2 business trips. When I returned, the doorman told me my mother had come looking for me 3 times, but they had stopped her. Iris had somehow gotten my number and sent me a text, accusing me. Because of you, Leo and Sean have completely fallen out. Are you happy now? I didn't want to deal with such a clueless person, but I did call Sean. If you need me to, I can explain to Leo. Sean didn't answer directly. Do you need me to? No, then neither do I. I was silent. Sean spoke. Back from your trip. How did you know? He said, I went to your firm to look for you. For something. The accountant at a subsidiary is suddenly resigning. I can't find a replacement right away. I wanted to see if you would do some freelance work. I said, expensive. Sean chuckled. Then I'll just have to try my best to afford you. I smiled too. All right. I'll come see you tomorrow to discuss the details. Good. After hanging up, I thought I must have been mistaken about him. The conversation with Sean went well. The subsidiary's business wasn't extensive, so outsourcing the accounting made more sense. We agreed on a price and signed a contract. Sean glanced at his watch. I have another meeting, so I won't keep you. I breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed I had been wrong about him. Okay, you go on. Leo found me again on the 12th day. He looked a bit disheveled. He said, you changed jobs and didn't even tell me. I frowned. What do you want? Leo looked at me. You really want a divorce. What else? Why? Chloe used to say that in my relationship with Leo. Even though he was 6 years older, I was the one who coddled him. Whatever he wanted, I gave him. Whatever he demanded, I did. So he was reckless. And at the same time, he lost the ability to self-reflect. This is the last time. Let's talk. It was me who initiated it this time. I said to Leo, I told you when I was studying for the CPA exam, but you said I couldn't pass. I told you when I changed jobs, but you didn't believe me and thought I was daydreaming. I didn't hide buying a house from you either. I started renovating it last year. I started moving my things 2 months ago, all under your nose. Why don't you ask yourself why you couldn't see it? Why you couldn't hear it? Leo was bewildered. But you were never like this before. I gave a sarcastic smile. Thanks to you. Of course, my mother was not a good life mentor. She never told me what was right or wrong. She never taught me about honor or shame. Everything I learned through trial and error. So my moral compass developed late. When I first got together with Leo, he would often shake his head at me in disappointment and say, how can you not even know this? How were you raised? If I heard something like that now, I would have a calm and collected comeback. But back then, I was genuinely ashamed and felt I was in the wrong. You taught me many principles and always held me to the standard of a saint. I couldn't be weak. I couldn't have negative emotions. I couldn't ask you for help. Every word that came out of my mouth had to be positive. I couldn't speak ill of others. I couldn't complain about work. I couldn't lack common sense. I couldn't just enjoy life. You were always criticizing me. You shattered my self-esteem and threw it on the ground. Leo, did you know I once thought about suicide because it was too painful? I even went to a temple and prayed. I drew a fortune slip. I don't remember what it said. And I don't remember what the fortune teller said. I only remember crying and crying, as if I had cried a lifetime's worth of tears. Leo's face turned pale. His lips trembled as he stammered, "You're my wife. I just hoped you would become a better person." Leo, you're a therapist. Why don't you use your professional knowledge and think about all the things you did to me? Isn't that considered PUA? I held up a hand to stop him. Think about it. Just think about it. Leo had once shattered my self-esteem. Piece by piece, I had picked up those pieces myself and stitched them back together, becoming the person I am today. On the 18th day, Leo appeared downstairs from my apartment. He called me. I was wrong. I'll change. Please forgive me. From now on, I'll have no more contact with Iris. I won't do the things you don't like anymore. What will it take for you to forgive me? Then how about I give you my life in return? He had brought mangoes. A whole box. He began to swallow them, one after another, desperately. His lips and cheeks began to swell. Red rashes appeared on his exposed arms. He didn't stop. 1, 2, 3. By the time the ambulance arrived, he was having trouble breathing, until he was loaded onto the stretcher. I did not appear. The hopeful light in his eyes slowly dimmed, his eyes closed, and he passed out. The first person to confront me about this was Iris. The jealousy in her eyes was barely concealed. Why, he still loves me. That was his proof of love for me. You were about to get a divorce. Mia, what did you do? I looked at Iris. You know, I've always hated you, but I never stopped you from seeing Leo. Do you know why? I answered my own question. Because your appearance saved me. Because of Iris' appearance. Because of the look of longing in Leo's eyes when he looked at her. I suddenly realized that Leo was just an ordinary person. He wasn't the god I had placed on a pedestal. In fact, he was a little dirty. The second person to come to me was my mother. She didn't understand. Leo has already gone this far. What more do you want? You've played hard to get for long enough. He's offered you a way out. Why won't you take it? I didn't understand either. Leo always hoped I would cut ties with you and stop supporting you. And you still want me to be with him. My mother's expression changed, and she turned and ran. The third person to come to me was Sean. I thought he was also here for Leo, but he said, business trip. We went to the subsidiary that night, handed over the work to the accountant who was about to go abroad, and went over the books. Due to time constraints, we had to stay there. Sean mysteriously said he would take me out. After a winding journey, we arrived at a complex of quaint, traditional buildings. I thought it was some kind of ancient town tourist attraction, but Sean told me it was a street of quiet bars. Here, is there any business? Sean sighed. If I had heard you say that earlier, I wouldn't have invested. He lamented that he had listened to some bad advice and made a losing investment. He hadn't made a penny, but he had become an expert bartender. I sat at the bar, watching his smooth, fluid movements. The only two other customers in the bar came over and asked him to make them a drink. Sean smiled and pushed the glass towards me. Sorry, this one's exclusive. That night, Sean became my personal bartender. I drank a lot, a pleasant buzz, but not drunk. The music in the bar was just right. The temperature was just right. Even the breeze coming through the half-open window was just right. I felt wonderfully light and relaxed. Sean asked me, "Are you happy?" I nodded. "I am." Leo had said that if I just visited him in the hospital once, he wouldn't back out of the divorce. I went. Seeing me, he smiled, but it was a pained smile. So, all this time, you didn't block me. You were willing to see me, to talk to me, just because you were afraid I would back out, weren't you? I nodded. He asked again, "Do you hate me a lot?" I answered honestly, I did. There was a time when I hated Leo intensely. I hated that I had met him. I hated that I loved him. But later, as I studied for my CPA, as I changed jobs, I slowly let it go. I said to Leo, I know myself. If I could do it all over again, I would still make the same choices. The 20-year-old Mia needed a Leo. If not you, then some other Leo. Would my life have been better with someone else? Not necessarily. I was a mess back then because I had attached myself to someone else. But you pushed me away. The process was painful, but the result was what I wanted. Leo, I don't hate you anymore. Not because you aren't hateful, but because I don't want to dwell on the past. But at the same time, I don't forgive you. Right now, I just want to leave. Leo kept his word. He didn't back out. We successfully got our divorce certificates. He asked me, can we still be friends? I laughed. You're a therapist. What do you think? I always remembered something Leo once said. The past cannot be changed, but the future has infinite possibilities. People have to grow. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to fall and get bruised. Don't look back. Just keep moving forward. After the divorce, I decisively blocked and deleted Leo. Of all the people connected to him, the only one I kept in touch with was Sean. 4 months after the divorce, Sean told me Leo had been reported. The reason was for having an inappropriate relationship with a patient. The person who reported him was Iris, because the evidence was false. Leo wasn't seriously affected, but Iris didn't give up. She went all out, claiming Leo had seduced her during her treatment. Their text messages, photos of them hugging, and a video of them kissing during a buy one, get one free event at a store. Sean didn't seem to expect the news to have so many details. He fumbled to turn off his phone, but I said calmly, I already know. He was silent. I gave a bitter smile. Are you wondering why? If I knew all this, I didn't leave him sooner. I didn't. I cut him off. I was breaking the chains on my own body. I wanted to escape, but first, I had to break the chains that bound my limbs. But I was too weak. I couldn't find the key, so I had to break my own limbs. The sudden silence was awkward. Just as I was thinking of something to say to break the silence, Sean patted my shoulder. You're already very strong. I worked for Sean for a year, until he found a suitable replacement for the accountant. During that year, we went to the subsidiary once a month, and on that one day each month, he would make me drinks. He paid me very well. In return, I treated him to many meals. Somehow, we became friends. Chloe asked if he was trying to pursue me. I shook my head. I don't think so. Then do you like him? I was a little lost. I haven't thought about it. I don't think so. Chloe shook her head. I'm warning you. Don't set limits for yourself. Because of Iris' report, Leo was fired. His record was stained, and it was difficult for him to find a good job. But even then, he refused to be with Iris. Defeated, Iris finally gave up. I heard Leo started a business, but it wasn't doing well. My best friend asked if I was happy. I nodded. I am. I give my mother a monthly allowance, but I don't see her much. She says I'm petty, that I still hold a grudge. I just let it go in one ear and out the other. I will still take care of her in her old age, but I have taken back all my feelings for her, both love and hate. This state of being makes me very comfortable. My birthday is at the end of the year, because I have few friends and am at an age where birthdays don't mean much. I have no expectations, but Sean invited me to dinner. He celebrated my birthday. There were my favorite dishes and a cake I liked. He gave me 2 gifts, one for a happy birthday, one asking me to be his girlfriend. I promised I would be happy, and I promised to be his girlfriend. Chloe was amazed. Just like that. He didn't even have to chase you. I smiled. I enjoy his company. Adult love has its own tacit understanding. It doesn't need to be dramatic or filled with grand promises. If it fits, it fits. But I still couldn't help asking Sean, when did you start to like me? I wasn't so vain as to think he had been secretly in love with me for years, but I always felt he had been good to me from very early on. Sean thought for a moment. He said, my first impression of you wasn't very strong. I just thought you were Leo's delicate little wife. Small, young, didn't talk much, but very obedient. Until one time I went with my mother to a temple. Sean wasn't a fan of such things. While his mother listened to the chanting, he wandered around, bored, and then he ran into Mia, a Mia who was sobbing her heart out. Sean's first instinct was to leave. No one wants their vulnerable moments to be seen by someone they know, but in the end, he didn't go, because Mia was crying so hard, the way she sobbed, the way she curled into herself, as if she were being flayed alive. Sean took a picture, intending to send it to Leo to handle, but he never sent it. She was Leo's wife. If she could find comfort with him, would she have come to a temple to cry? Sean thought, forget it, don't meddle. But in the end, he did. He bought a pack of tissues and handed it to Mia, but he was at a loss for words. All he could say was, don't cry. Mia didn't remember who had given her the tissues, but Sean never forgot the despair in her eyes. At first, Sean had no intention of doing anything. He was a non-marriage advocate. He didn't want to get married or be in a relationship. It was too much trouble, and she was his friend's wife. But at every gathering, He would always pay a little more attention to her, wondering if she was still so sad, and thinking, maybe there was something he could do to make her less sad. So at karaoke, he would pretend to casually tell the waiter to put the fruit platter on her side. At the dinner table, when the dish she liked was about to be turned away, he would hold the lazy Susan in place. But such opportunities were few, Sean thought. It's okay, at least when I'm around, I can make her a little happier. It didn't mean anything. He would also bring food to the stray cats downstairs. No ulterior motives, just a simple act of kindness, until they started to get a divorce. When Leo misunderstood them, he didn't explain. 1. Because he had been growing increasingly disapproving of Leo's behavior in recent years. 2. Because he wanted to make a statement. This girl was pitiful, and he was on her side. He never thought he would end up with Mia. He was a non-marriage advocate, after all, until a friend pointed it out to him. Are you playing some new kind of secret crush game? He had a crush on Mia. He had a crush on Mia. It took Sean 2 days to accept this reality. He took a sharp breath. I kind of want to get married now. What's going on? Sean and Mia got married in the 2nd year of their relationship. Leo also came. Sean stopped him at the door. Don't. It's a happy day. Don't make her unhappy. Leo cursed Sean for being a hypocrite, for plotting this for a long time, for having bad intentions, for them having been together all along. Sean sighed. If I wasn't afraid of wrinkling my suit, I would really punch you. Halfway down the aisle, he turned back and said to Leo, it's not true. Don't insult her. It made it sound like she had cheated on him. That wouldn't do. Mia was innocent. Mia was the one who had been hurt. After getting married, Sean and Mia lived as a couple. Sean didn't want children. After being a non-marriage advocate, he discovered he wanted to be child-free. His mother said he was flighty, but she didn't push him. After all, the fact that he was willing to get married was a miracle. His mother thought, his wife is 6 years younger than him. She should be able to see him off. But actually, Sean was nervous. He didn't want to hide it from Mia, but he was afraid she wouldn't accept it. But when she heard, Mia just said, oh, good. I don't want to have kids either. Actually, Mia had also been wondering how to tell Sean. To marry someone but not have children with them seemed unfair, but she really didn't have the confidence to be a good mother. The first half of her life had been too difficult. If the second half could just be about healing herself, that would be a blessing. The prospect of a new life was too heavy. If she couldn't give a perfect answer, she would rather not answer at all. But luckily, the two of them were on the same page. The only one who had a problem with it was Chloe. You believe him? He used to be a non-marriage advocate. What if one day he wants kids? Men can have kids at any age. Mia was very calm about it. You're missing the point. The issue is that I don't want to have kids, and he happens to not want them either. So we agreed and got married. Wanting or not wanting is his will. Not wanting to have them is my stance. If we agree, we stay together. If we don't, we separate. It's that simple. But, won't that be sad? Mia looked up from her reports. Just because you're afraid of getting hurt, of being sad, you don't even start. I can't live my whole life being afraid. Hearing these words, Sean was very happy. The little girl who had cried so hard, the little girl who was so sad, seemed to have grown up. No, she had always been growing. Nothing could ever knock her down.